at you, Frody. Frodo insists on immediately being a part of the action. Immediately. Hello. You are wild. You are wild. You are being a wild chihuahua. You are being a wild chihuahua. Yes, you are. You have been very wild. Very wild. Look at his wild body. The day is going interesting, honestly. We're doing spicy Q&A today. I have a really huge, not huge, but I have 35. I've condensed 35 questions from Instagram. I asked people for their spiciest questions. Like, yay! I'm so glad. I know, I remember last time you said you never made one. I asked people to go ahead and ask whatever they wanted to ask, you know, because I have a lot of people who are nosy. They want to know stuff, you know, and also people just have a lot of questions that they want to ask that are probably like, they're just like, they're taboo questions or questions that people are afraid to ask, or sometimes like, they're questions that seem like, you know, silly or just like over the top or whatever. And I was like, just ask me whatever you want to ask, like whatever you think is weird or too intrusive, or if you're just like nosy or curious, or you're just like, I need to know because I'm, you know, insatiable. I was like, go ahead, just ask the questions, whatever. I got some wild ones. Hello. Hi. Yeah, I got some wild ones. I did get a lot of questions about sex magic again, and it's a wonderful subject, and I love talking about it. It's just really difficult sometimes to do it on YouTube because some of the videos will get taken down and stuff. Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I have some really interesting ones. I always get the same sort of like old school magic questions as well. You know, I get those like questions about the devil and about like, you know, sex in the craft or the devil in the craft and stuff like that, which is always, you know, it's always interesting, and it's always fascinating as well, like how the answers change throughout the years just because of like what people discover and scientists and so. Thank you, sweetie McSweetie pie. I'm wearing my strength earrings from Mother Make Me, and they have pumpkins on them. Which, if you guys don't know, pumpkin is my favorite word, and it is my favorite. I freaking love pumpkins, and I love pumpkin flavored things. I'm obsessed with pumpkins. So Norma made these earrings for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, how sweet, how sweet. So yeah, I put on my spicy strength earrings. I'm literally wearing a nightgown. It's just normal for me though. Like, I'm an aesthetic hoe and an aesthetic hoe. Do you know what I mean? I'm an aesthetic hoe and an aesthetic hoe. Meaning I love aesthetics, and also I love looking like a hoe. Because I just really enjoy, honestly, not wearing clothes. The less clothing, the more comfortable. I also have a ton, and when I say a ton, I'm like, I have my box is overflowing right now with things I need to scrapbook. I know I just spilled some out, but lots of things I need to scrapbook. So I'm also going to be doing that while we do our spicy Q&A. I recently started following the scrapbooker who scrapbooks, everything, absolutely everything. And I'm so inspired by her because she was just like punching holes out of things, out of like packaging and stuff like that, and just using like little pieces of it for her scrapbooking. And I loved that. And I totally have a hole punch thingy, and it's not here right now, which is frustrating. It might be behind me. It might be behind me. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love fall. I love pumpkin flavored things. I love all of the feelings and aesthetics of fall. I love it. I'm like that with every season though. Like I really love, see, look how spicy we are. I love like getting into I love themes, you know? I love themes. Theme me up, Scotty. I love a theme. So I definitely think that like getting into every season like is my thing, you know. Every season will change. I'm like, ooh, time for this, you know, time for these things. It's pumpkin time or whatever. So I'm gonna put the scrapbooking stuff right here. I've got my tablet here. Did I just grab a camera one day and say I'm gonna make content? Okay, so that's a really great question actually, and I will totally answer that right now. No. So because I'm 43, right? Content creation wasn't a thing, you know, when it was just like you were filming your life. You're just making videos and then uploading it to YouTube so that you wouldn't lose the video, but you couldn't keep it on your device or whatever it was because it was too big, so you had to upload it to YouTube so you could save it, you know? So the first like content creator I followed was someone who was pregnant at the same time that I was pregnant, and so I was like in a place where I didn't have any friends or anything, and so I just really wanted to follow her journey and see the things that she was doing because I was lonely and I was like, and I wanted to watch her journey. And then when I lived in Florida, I lived with a bunch of witches. I had so many witchy friends, and we just had a really good community. And when I moved from there, I missed it so much that I was like, maybe I can make a community here where I am. And so that's why I started making videos to try to find a witchcraft community where I was living, because I was like, hello, where are all my friends? And that's it. And then I was like, oh, can I do YouTube as a job? Is that like a job? And since Miss Jenna Marbles, the queen that she is, thank you, Jenna Marbles, made it possible for people to, you know, make YouTube videos and make money off of them because people watch them and enjoy what they learn or teach or share. Yes, it can be a job. You know, it can be a job. For me, it's a tiny part-time job, you know. Tiny part-time job, because unless you're making viral videos all the time, YouTube cannot be a career for humans in real life, you know. I do too. I talk to everything alive, everything. Okay, I saw another question. Do you have a daytime job? Oh yeah, there you go. Do you have a daytime job? Is this your career that you love? So, my job, or like my careers, as people have it, is ministry. I'm a interfaith minister. I'm about to be licensed. About to be a licensed interfaith minister, and I minister to people as a witch. I am a witch. You know, I have practiced earth-based religion my entire life, and my job, like my dream job when I was a small baby, the first thing I ever wanted to do was be a witch. I was like, I want to be a witch. I want to somehow make that my job. Like, I don't know how, but like they do it in stories, right? In storybooks, a witch lives in the village, or she lives outside the village, and she, you know, makes healing salves, and she talks to the ladies when they're sad, and she's a midwife, and you know, she helps people to to believe in themselves and to build their crops and stuff. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I was like, how can I find a way to make it my job? What are other things that I love doing? Talking. I'm a Gemini. We like to talk. We like to share and exchange information. And since witchcraft and natural life, spiritualism have always been my main focus, like my main special interest, I guess you would say, is like a living human being. I was like, okay, well, how do I make it my job? Because you have to make money to live. You gotta. So I make YouTube videos, and YouTube does not pay as well as it used to, unfortunately. I used to be able to sustain myself fully just on YouTube videos, but I cannot do that anymore. So I make YouTube videos as well as do peer counseling, spiritual counseling, meaning spiritual counseling for me and tarot reading for me are very similar to co-counseling in a way that you are giving people information and love and time and space and presence to be authentic, be themselves, say what they need to say, be what they need to be, and like get their stress out and talk about how to build a better future together, that sort of thing. And the biggest source of my income is tarot reading and event facilitation. So I do a lot of meditation circles. Actually, I have one tomorrow night at Terra Luna, if you would like to come. If you are at the Wilmington, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, New Jersey area, and you can get to Wilmington, Delaware, I have a full moon circle tomorrow night at Terra Luna. I have them every month, and I also do drum circles and tarot parties, which is one of my favorite things to do. If you're having a birthday party and you want to hire me to read tarot at your birthday party, hire me. It's my favorite thing to do. I read tarot at events. I work with my friends, the Mythmaker Society, and I read tarot at their events. And yeah, that is how I make my money. That is how I do life. And people are often like, how does that work? How? And I'm like, hard, it's hard. But working for yourself, and making love my goal, like, in every interaction was like really important to me. And I worked for other people for like 28 years of my life, and it made me I don't know if you guys, if you've been around for a long time, you may have known, like, I had a stroke from stress from working retail. That's like absurd. And I couldn't do that anymore. The stress from working in a retail store, the stress from working in Claire's, selling cute little pink accessories should not drive someone to have a medical emergency. You know what I mean? So I would rather hustle my little butt off leading meditation and counseling women into being independent and, reading tarot all day and night instead of stressing myself out for someone else's corporate business while they are selling products made by children in another country for 3 times the price that child is getting paid. Like, no way. I literally could not. It was driving me crazy. So that was a tangent. I went on a tangent, y'all. Where'd that come from? That wasn't even okay. I was answering questions, but I have this like huge thing here. Stress will kill you, friends. Please. Like, I'm always trying to tell people that like it is such an urgent thing to me. Like, it is urgent as heck to me to tell people stress will kill you, friend. Like, do your best to get yourself in a place where you're not living a life full of stress. It will take your life for real. Like, it really will. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh man, I love Texas so much. I love Texas. What were you saying? Actually, you know, I haven't worked with the Fae for Money Magic. Yeah, I worked for Claire's for a really long time. Yeah. I worked there for... Claire's was probably my longest job. Claire's was my first real job, like official job. I was an intern before that, but Claire's was my first real job and my last... Or no, I'm going to say not real. My first, like, corporate world job and my last corporate world job. I started there. I worked there for 4 years, and then I left and went to a bunch of other stores and did a bunch of things, and then ended up going back to Claire's in my adult life and worked there while like really like I worked at Claire's while starting my YouTube career, and while I was working through all of these like spiritual changes and stuff like that, I started realizing that my moral code was changing and that I could not work for a company that had nameless employees. Like, I just could not work for a company that did not know who its employees were. And like I didn't want to. I hadn't wanted to my entire life. And like after having like life-threatening health experiences, you really kind of go like, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore, because like I die, we die, everyone dies, right? We all die. So why am I wasting my time doing anything that makes me feel wretched? Like, I can't, you can't. So let's get into these spicy questions, because I have a bunch. I'm gonna do them randomly though. So a lot of these are nosy questions. I'm just gonna pick one. What's a magical taboo you've broken that changed the way you practice? A magical taboo I've broken that changed the way I practice. Okay, I have a couple. So you know how everyone's like, don't go into fairy ring, blah, blah, blah. I go into fairy rings. I probably break every magical taboo, if I'm being honest. I do not follow rules. I do not follow rules, generally ever, friends. Like, I am definitely a person who feels like rules are made to be broken. Rules are made by people who uphold rules. Rules are made by people who think that there should be rules on humans. I don't know. Like, sometimes there are rules that are set in place to keep people safe, and I adhere to those, of course. I adhere to societal rules that are there to keep people safe. Like, yeah, of course. I would never, break a rule that would then result in someone else's harm. No. But other kinds of rules, like I don't want to curse because I don't want to lose monetization, but I'm a fuck around and find out person, honestly. So I will do something and then I will record the results. And if those results are like terrible, or awful, then obviously I'm not gonna do it again. But if those results are like kind of interesting, palatable, workable, then yeah, I might do it again, you know? I have had an NDE. I had one when I was like, how old was I? Maybe 10 or 11. I choked on a gusher at school. I was laughing and throwing them back. Choked on one. And I was choking and choking and choking. And, you know, I was surrounded by kids. And I just like stood up because I was like, whoa, I can't breathe at all, you know? And my principal was in there and he came and gave me the Heimlich maneuver. And I like stood up. And when I stood up like this and the principal came to give me the Heimlich, it was and like, you know what's so funny, like I had this experience and I never talk about it and I never give it any credit. I never give it any like standing or holding or anything in my life because I'm always like, well, maybe it didn't really happen or whatever. But what happened, he gave me the Heimlich maneuver, and as he like came around and was like trying to give me the Heimlich maneuver, it was like hurting, like because he wasn't doing it right. And I was just like out of my body, straight up into the top of the cafeteria, like straight up into the ceiling, just like to the ceiling, watching myself get the Heimlich maneuver by the principal. And I was like, whoa. And then that was it. And then I was back, and then the gusher flew out of my face, and I was fine. And it was so fast and so quick that I didn't give it any credit. I never give it any credit or anything because that was it. Like no light, no diet, nothing. It was just whoa. And then I was like, okay, here I am, you know. Yeah, I agree. How would you know if you don't fuck around? You know, and there are a lot of things like that. There are a lot of things where, I mean, and you, obviously to your safety, like I'm not 12, so I'm not going to do something like really dumb and get hurt or arrested. But I do think that when it comes to magical taboos, they're usually there because of someone else's misinterpretation of how something works in another culture. Right? Like usually that's what it is. Like if people tell you like certain things, like never do this, you know, it's usually because in their culture it means blah 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 blah. But in someone else's culture, that magical taboo could be like what you literally do to make the magic work. You know what I mean? So I really don't think that there are a lot of things that you can give that name to, you know? You just gotta research every taboo. If there's anything that someone tells you not to do magically, ask why. And if it doesn't make sense to you, like research and find out why. I agree. It's totally true. Like, you know, a lot of people, and like I have a lot of people in my DMs asking me why I don't make like TikToks, like witch talk TikToks and reels and stuff like that. Also, friends, I have a little bit of a speech impediment today because I have a freaking toothache, like a mofo, and I'm trying to like talk around it, and it's hard. It's making my mouth do like a sideways thing. Anyway, yeah, like why don't you make witch content on TikTok and blah 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 blah? And I'm like, I want to, but I also like my content is going to be very contrarian to a lot of other people's, right? Like if people are telling you don't do this, rules, let's go do break bar. I'll be like, no, no, you know what I mean? I have a hard time being like, I have to get myself into the mode where I'm like, contrary to popular belief, you can literally do anything. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like it's a space that is just so populated by people who have such strong opinions about things, and they want to argue and be angry about it. And I have no time to argue and be angry. I'm too cute for that. I'm too nice for that. You know what I mean? I'm filled with too much love for that. I don't want to even like induce anyone's anger. You know, I just don't. That's not what I want to do. So maybe, I don't know, I think about it every once in a while, like just making witchcraft TikToks and like small videos that have like tips and stuff, that things that you can do, tips and tricks and tries. You know, it probably would be fun. But yeah, a lot of people are just they're just so negative on the internet. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't want that. Ew, stop. Don't be nasty. I don't like that. Anyway, if your magic had a flavor, what would it taste like? Ooh, that's a good one. Ew. Strawberry marshmallow. Okay, this is so funny. It's like strawberry marshmallows in hot chocolate, like slightly melted strawberry marshmallows and hot chocolate. That's what it tastes like. That's just what I imagine when I'm doing magic, right? I'm like imagining myself doing some magic, and that's the first thing I think of is like melted chocolate and strawberry flavor, but like marshmallow strawberry. What's a magic? Okay, right though. How has queerness shaped your magic and your confidence in being seen? Ooh. Matcha lemonade. That's awesome. I love that. I love matcha lemonade. I love lemonade. It's my favorite drink. I love lemonade. I love it with mint in it. Okay, how has queerness shaped your magic and your confidence in being seen? How has queerness shaped my magic and my confidence in being seen? Okay, that's a really good question. How has queerness shaped my magic and my confidence in being seen? So confidence is a huge part of my magic, right? Like confidence is like one of the biggest parts of my magic, because it's a challenge that oh my God, my word that I hate is regularly. I regularly challenge myself to do things that are scary to me, right? I love talking to people and like getting to know people, and I love like meeting new people to fall in love with and stuff like that. And so it is always scary when you're queer and you're like flirting with people in a non-queer space. It's always scary to like talk to people romantically if you don't know if they're queer or not, right? You're just like, are they giving queer? Are they giving gay? Are they giving bi? Are they giving sapphic? I can't tell, you know? And so by like dropping a part of the interaction that is involved with like a result, I've gained more confidence in being able to just have interactions with people organically and share magic organically without having an expectation. That was so convoluted. Does that make sense to anybody? I'm gonna plug in my tablet so I can read my questions. It's like so like rural. It's another one. It sucks. Yeah. So like, you know, when you're communing with people, like when you're meeting people and you're trying to like get to know someone and gauge their attraction to you, a lot of the time you're using like glamour magic or different types of magic that help you to be more confident or help you to feel like you can talk to someone easier. I definitely use a little bit of glamour magic when I'm talking to people, when I'm flirting. Like when I go to like, I don't go to bars often because I don't like bars because they're loud and stinky and drunk people get on my nerves. But I do like going if they have like moist. I don't think it's a bad word. When people, what am I talking about? Going to bars? I like going to bars when they have events, right? And that's when I get to do flirting. So I'll put on like a little extra air of confidence in order to do it, because like I want to challenge myself, I want to talk to people, I want to find more love, but I also want to make sure that like I'm being authentic, you know. So queerness has definitely helped me with confidence magic, like 9,000%. Yeah. And it's like I love going to places where people are, but like bars should be our only option. Am I right, friends? Like it annoys me so much that bars are the only place you can go at night to hang out, aside from someone's house. Like why aren't libraries open until 2 or 3 a.m.? Give me a 3 a.m. library, friends. Like, come on. Why isn't Barnes and Noble open until 3 a.m.? You know, and I think they probably are in certain places. They're just not here. I know in like other cities and stuff, like things stay open all night. Here in the suburbs need that too. The suburbs need that too, and like other cities need that too. Do you believe sex can be spell work? Absolutely. Duh. Everything can be spell work. I love Ben and Jerry's. Yeah. 3 a.m. library would be awesome, wouldn't it? Everything is spell work, but sex is definitely spell work. Try manifesting during an orgasm. Just do it. Do it today. Do it by yourself. Just do it. Long distance love. Oh, it's rough. It's rough. But I love love in any form. I think it's wonderful. And long distance love, I think, is probably really difficult. I love Valerian Root, yeah. It's some people think it's stinky. I don't mind the way it smells, and it helps me go to sleep like that. I love love in any form, and I think that if you can have long distance love, go for it. No one long distance has ever fallen in love with me, I don't think. I've tried to make long distance connections before, and I it's really difficult. I have some friends that live far away, but I've never had like a long distance romance. What's the most powerful spell you've ever cast that actually worked? Self-love. Self-love is the best spell ever cast, and it's the one that is probably like the hardest to master, but it is the greatest spell that you will ever accomplish. And people are like, that's so corny, that's BS, that's whatever, oh that's so. I'm telling you right now, if you can learn to love yourself the way you love some partner that treats you like crap, if you can learn to give yourself that much love and devotion, do you know how good your life will be? Like in real life, like, you know how good your life will be if you stop giving your energy to people who don't care about you or love you or want the best for your future, or people who do care about you and love you but don't know how to treat you well. They care about you, but they don't know how to care about you well enough to keep you. Do you know how much better your life would be if you gave all of that love back to yourself? In all of the forms you give it to them. If you gave yourself a foot massage and gave yourself some delicious food and took yourself to the movies, took yourself somewhere cute on a vacation, wrote a love letter to yourself, painted your nails, slapped your own butt. Just kidding. But like, put that time and effort into yourself instead, right? Hear me out. You have laundry you need to do, but your partner has had a really bad day and they're crying and they need someone to help them with whatever. Okay? Okay. You help them. But if you didn't have a partner, what would you do for yourself on that day? What would you do for yourself? You had a really bad day. What are you going to do for yourself? I'm going to put myself in the bath. I'm going to give myself some comfy pajamas. I'm going to put something on TV that's going to be good for myself. Your ex is calling you. Come over, I'm bored, I'm sad, I miss you. You could go over there and make their day better, or you can give that love to yourself and do your taxes or something. Or do something that you know you need to do, that you don't feel like doing, it's hard, but you know you need to do. And by doing it, you will be giving yourself love because you will be completing something that your future self will be proud of and happy for. Imagine giving yourself all of the time and attention and energy you keep giving to some jerk. To some like mean jerk, mean lady, or whoever. You know, like, honestly, self-love is the most magical, most powerful spell you will cast because it turns your focus on you and building up what makes you happier, better, stronger, more powerful, whatever. Has a spirit or deity ever flirted with you during ritual? Be honest. This person is saying be honest to me. I did say I was going to make a video about this because people are always talking about like, deities being flirty and beautiful and sexy and hello. And people having crushes on deities and people being like, oh my God, Aries is so hot. I want to date him. Oh my God, Zeus is hot though. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Greek mythology, and how popular and like, cool it is and how many like different iterations we have of all these deities has definitely made it so that people think that, deities are these hot, sexy, like muscular human people. Which is cute. Like, I'm glad you can think that. It's great. It's okay. Here's what I believe. Here's my truth right here, right now, my friends. A deity is just a sprinkling of the vast power that expands beyond what our minds can even fathom. A deity is like a sprinkling of salt in a bag compared to the vastness that is actual spirit, right? You say love is in the air. I know it is in the air. Love is in the air. Always in the air. I know there's a lot of love questions on here, so don't worry. So a deity is like an ocean parting off into like a little river and then parting off into a little stream. And that's what that deity is. The deity is the stream. Okay? The deity is the stream. And the power is that entire ocean. The deity is a stream of power being put into a human sack. So like a human idea. Not even like flesh, but just a human idea. So a deity is a tiny fraction of the power that is put into a little human-shaped puppet thing. And that's who you're working with. So you get, it's massive power. Deities are insanely powerful, right? They can do literally anything, cause war, blah, blah. But they are still just a tiny, tiny fraction of the vastness that is creation. So, that tiny fraction in this deity, in this form, as what it is working with you. it's been not separated, but it's been kind of parted off from the all-knowing, all growing, enchanting, like, source of life soup that's just like pooping things out into existence everywhere. And you've taken a little piece of that and bottled it up into this little deity package. That's what you're working with. And this little deity package has, because of human constructs, has all these like human traits that we've put on it as well, which it does. It has these traits, but we're bottling, like, again, vastness into these tiny little traits. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm with you. Ready? So you give him all these human traits. And so you got these like magical things in this human idea with all these human traits. And it is exploring its life as a deity of humans. This may be a very unpopular opinion, okay? But hell yeah, a spirit or deity has flirted with me in ritual. Of course. If you are taking, like, an incredibly huge amount of energy and putting it into, like, this marker and using it, okay, so you have a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of magic, and you've taken all this magic and you've put, like, little sprinklings of that magic into this marker because that's all it could fit. You can write whatever you want to with this marker. It's a magical marker. You can write whatever you want to, because the marker is subject to your will, your human will. So the magic has the marker has the magic as the deity, but you as the human have the capacity to understand and to experience what this marker gives you. So you can use this marker and you can write whatever you want with this marker. You can write whatever you want with this marker. This marker's gonna write down whatever you write down, because you're using it, right? So it's gonna make whatever you want. It's gonna write down whatever you want. So if you're writing sex, if you're thinking about sex, and you're working with a deity who is responding to your will, to your magic, who was you're bonding with them, and you're thinking about sex, and so then yes, that deity is going to respond and reciprocate as you are putting out. Right? And yes, again, God's deities, they are having an interesting experience as a human deity, so to speak. Like, deities are having an experience as a human deity. Deities are not what they are. They are an offshoot of an entirely huge life power force that is God, right? And every other deity that comes out of that, this giant soup, has their own, they represent their own specific power, and they experience life as we give it to them. Exactly. The universe experiencing itself through you. We are all little pockets of the universe experiencing life as what it is. So if we as humans create deities to worship based on the power that we've experienced, then the universe will then pour little pockets of energy into these deities to work for us, with us, against us, whatever. They work with the power that we give them back and forth, So, hell yeah, they flirt. Yes. I guess I've been flirted with by deities. Yes, I've flirted with deities. Respectfully, respectfully. And in a way that they would receive, you know what I mean? Or in a way that it would happen. Never in an inappropriate time, never in a way that didn't make sense. You know what I mean? But that's more for experienced witches. That's something that's for someone who's been experienced for a while in the craft, they've had like a long standing of like communication or openness with their deities or the vastness that is, and they understand their own relationship or lack thereof, whatever. It's personal. What's your favorite kind of magic when you're mad? Chaos, shadow, or sweet revenge? Chaos. Mixed with shadow. Chaos mixed with chaos mixed with shadow. Chaos mixed with shadow for sure. So if I'm mad, like angry, I'm not going to go into ritual. Okay. So magic and ritual are very different. Magic is like science unexplained, right? Magic is what's happening all the time everywhere. It's just doing it. And then you take a piece of that magic and you guide it in your way and make it do what you want. That's witchcraft. Okay. So when you are working with magic, it is also working with you. And if you're angry and you're doing magic when you're angry, that magic is going to then be angry. So I don't really want to do any angry magic because I don't want to put anger out into the world, specifically me, because that's not what I want. If you're someone who's like, I want to put anger out into the world, and there are good reasons for doing that, then yeah, do that kind of magic when you're angry. But when I'm angry, I don't go into ritual, which is actual spell work. I don't go into ritual. When I'm angry, I do chaos and release. Singing, which is going to stir up the power even bigger. I'm definitely a fever break person. I'm not a bring the fever down. I'm a fever break person, And that's one of my favorite things to ask about witches too. Like, are you a fever break witch or are you a bring the fever down witch? Do you calm down the situation or do you escalate it enough so that it explodes and then everything just like kind of fizzles? I escalate it until it explodes a lot of the time, which means dancing and singing and running. I like to run or like work out or box or anything that makes me use a lot of physical energy or a lot of spiritual energy. I like to bring it up really high until I like exhaust it and then let it flow. For me, like anger is like useful. It's a tool, and there's a reason why you're angry, So a lot of the time, like diffusing anger is good in situations where you're fighting with somebody else. But to me, with yourself, like if I'm angry, there's a reason why. So I'm gonna feel my feelings because you're supposed to, because you're a human, right? You're alive. Feel your feelings, understand your feelings. Write down your feelings, make sure that they make sense, understand why you're angry, figure out if it's something that you can change within yourself. Can I transmute this anger? Can I change this anger? Like, am I angry because of something that I'm doing? Like, can I change this? Like, can I fix this? Or am I angry because this is happening and it's making me feel like it's unfair? Like, figure out what the anger is, right? And then feel it, understand it, justify it, say, yes, damn, of course I should be angry about this. And then let it go. Okay, mwah! Have a wonderful day. Have I ever hexed anyone? You hexed her. So I have. Of course, I started working with magic and witchcraft when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was very young. I was initiated on the path when I was 11. So yes, I hexed people when I was in my young teens because, at first you learn not to, but then you get into your moody, rebel, emotional hormone stage and you're like, oh my gosh, this person hurt my friend. This boy hurt my friend. Yes, I'm going to hex his ass. So I have, with my little coven back in the day, hexed boys who were mean to girls. Yes, they worked. One time it did work a little bit more than we expected. But all's well that ends well. I did balance that energy out. I apologized for that energy. I cried. I definitely went through a phase of anti-hex for a very long time because I felt really badly for putting anything negative out into the world at all. You have to understand, like when I was young, I felt like kindness and goodness and love were the most important things. And I think as a child on the spectrum, like when I understood that, like when I solidified that idea in my mind, it's real to me. It's real. It is like how I live my life. It's like so important to me. So when I do anything or say anything that goes against that, I freak out. And sometimes I have a panic attack. And like once I had a panic attack because I killed a bug. Or I killed like a bunch of bugs because they were invasive and bad. And then I had a panic attack afterwards because I was like, oh my God, that was like terrible. Like how could I have taken their life? And I cried and I did a ceremony about it and like freaked out. And that's just me. Like that was just me. That was my personal like feeling after that. I was like, okay, so I recognize that I am not the kind of witch that can do this, that I can't kill bugs on a mass scale. I can't do that. But I realized that I can hex behaviors and experiences and memories, and that is something that I definitely do all the time. And I do believe in communal group hexing when someone is harmful, abusive, and terrible for someone's health, like bad for someone's health, if they are hurting someone, and there is no other option. I'm an energy assister. I don't hex people personally, but I do energy assist because I do not judge witches or anything for anything that they feel they need to do, and I 100% support my family. You know what I'm saying? Like if a sister is like, look, this happened and I need some, and I'm like, look, let's go. If somebody's like, look, if a man comes up to me and he's like, this man did something and hurt my family and I need some help and blah 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 blah, and other people are like, oh my God, this happened, I know it's true, and blah blah blah, I do my little research, and we all come together and say, look, we need to come together and create some justice. I'm in support of that. Man, someone is collabing. Someone is asking me for a collab right now. I just got an email. Okay, let's get to the next question. What's your favorite queer archetype in mythology? Ooh, I also collect egg bugs. I have a jar of bees. I think I might have taken it somewhere, but I do have a jar of bees. My favorite queer archetype in mythology. All of them, honestly. I hope everyone... Medusa is definitely one, for sure. Artemis, probably. Baphomet. Everyone. Aphrodite, everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a favorite. It's hard. Artemis, I mean, I love Medusa. She definitely has a very, very special place in my heart. I have like statues and like plaques of her. She and I have a really lovely relationship. I love Artemis. I've had a really long-standing relationship with Artemis. Yes. In many forms, the Huntress goddess has been a part of my life from the beginning, and I call the huntress goddess Artemis, even though in my learning and in my sorry, bud, I'm trying to not step on my dog. In my studies, I've sort of communed with a general huntress spirit, which is very different than like each individual huntress spirit from individual cultures. It is like the protector of women and children and animals and the betterment of the emotional state of humans in general. And so it's a really big, I mean, the Artemis archetype to me has always just been the ultimate queer icon. I don't know. I have Artemis tattoos. Like, come on. Medusa and Lilith, ooh la la, yes. Yeah, I would love a Medusa tattoo. Have you ever used magic to deepen or end a relationship? Yes. I have to pee. I have used magic to now that I'm thinking about it, I think I've used magic to deepen and end a relationship. Next question. Okay. White Claw. I always work with the Fae. Always. Always. Little people are always with me. Always. I have White Claw mixed with cranberry juice. Okay. I'm just going to give you a little brief on this one. The next question is a personal one, but... And I'm going to answer it, of course, because I love personal questions. Yes, I have used magic to deepen a relationship. My husband and I do relationship deepening magic all the time. It's wonderful. I suggest it for everyone in any relationship. I've done relationship, like friend relationship deepening spells. It's so fun. I've done lover relationship deepening spells. My husband and I have done relationship deepening spells. It's wonderful. It's good for you. You find out a lot about each other, ask each other questions in that ritual space, and it's so vulnerable and it's so unique. It's wonderful. So I definitely suggest doing magic, doing like bonding spells and stuff like that. It's so nice. It's so wonderful. And it just allows you to be in a different kind of experience with someone, And my favorite thing is to do best friend spells and stuff like that, like where you solidify your relationship by declaring your love for each other, like your undying love for each other. I'm a vampire. I am not chalant. I am not nonchalant. I'm like, let's go. Yes. Relationship deepening spells as well. Like for yourself, do them with yourself. I did one for passion for my art before. I've done one for passion for my job before. Yes. Do it. Do it. How do you keep jealousy from becoming a spell of self-destruction? That is hard. That is hard. So this was in reference to polyamory. I was talking to this person before about this. We had a conversation before, and they were like, I'm having a hard time in my relationships because my nesting partner, and this is like a thing, this person's nesting partner had started to fall for their other partner. And they were like, what? They did not expect that. And they're not the type of in a relationship where they wanted to be in a throuple or anything like that. They don't like that. They were in a coffee table kind of, kitchen table kind of, polyam relationship. And their other partner, who was a male, began to fall for their nesting partner, who was their husband, who was also male. And they did not expect that. And they were like, how do I not be jealous right now? And I'm like, okay, well, you are going to be jealous right now. You are going to be jealous right now. People are jealous all the time. People get jealous all the time about all kinds of things. People are jealous that someone's hair color is a color that they want. People are jealous that someone has the car they want, the job they want, whatever. You have to get over your jealousy in general, right? You can't just say that I'm jealous when it comes to relationships. I'm jealous when it comes to this. You are jealous. You have to get over your jealousy. You have to work on your jealousy. You have to realize that there is absolutely nothing that anyone else has or anything that you can't have or that you can't build for yourself or whatever. And you have to also understand that if someone else is spending time with someone that you love, I know it's hard, it is hard, but you are only going to be building more love from that, Whenever people are able to create this is not a say up. Whenever people are able to create more love in relationships and to build more relationships, that is just going to be better for you, And it's always so hard. I know it's hard. That is one of the hardest things, I think, is when you are in a polyam relationship or a non-monogamous relationship, and your partner is falling in love with somebody else. It's really hard. I've been there so many times. It's really, really, really hard. And then that question comes directly followed by, where's Gigi? What happened with you and Gigi? Okay, so here it is. I already talked to her to make sure it was okay that I talked about it. She's just like, whatever. It was an interesting kind of thing, Like I wanted to just make a way for her to be able to like support herself and to get out of her situation and be in a good place. And I did everything that I could in that respect, and we became really good friends. We had so much in common, and there was a lot that we bonded over. And yeah, we did. We fell in love, and it was difficult because I have a big old bag of hearts that I put onto people, and I want to be supportive and loving. I want to help people with their dreams. I want to make their dreams come true. I want to do everything to make my partners happy. I am like nurture mama extreme, I will do absolutely anything because I don't know, it just makes me so happy. And so I definitely am the type of person that like has to be careful not to like lose themselves in other people's goals and dreams, because I will put all my energy and resources towards other people's goals and dreams. It's difficult, but yeah, we fell in love and it was great, but it only lasted for a little bit because again, it's really, really hard to be with your partner when they're falling in love with someone else. And that was what was happening with us. She was also dating somebody else, and that person was like, and she was like, and I was like, and that's what happens. And for me, I'm like, I want to be absolutely like giving everything that I can and support and friendship, and I think it was just better for me to be there for Gigi as a friend than as a girlfriend, which was really hard for me. because my heart is like still all velvety smooth for Gigi. Real rap. Real rap, friends. My heart is on my sleeve out here, but that's just how it is. And she is now happily in a monogamous relationship, which I'm so happy for her, and I hope it works out beautifully. And I hope that she builds her business and gets on her feet and lives her life wonderfully. I hope they have a wonderful relationship going forward. Why are you... Okay, yeah, I know, because someone asked me that. Someone was like, "Why are you gay?" Because it's because women are so perfect. I don't know. Women look like they do. That's why. Because women look like that. Have you seen women? Have you seen women? So yeah. So I'm just like, we still talk, and we're still friends. We don't see each other nearly as much as we used to. We were like going hard for a while, like boom, like together. And then, breakups are hard. Breakups are hard. They make things hard. And I'm just always trying to create more space for love, And yeah. Yeah, Mr. Mint and I are still searching for our girl, for our closed throuple. We want a closed throuple. We're not trying to have anything else. But it's hard out here for lovers. It's hard out here for people with them hearts that just want to love. I know. Okay, what did you say? I do wear wigs. Someone asked a question. Okay, what was the most terrifying encounter with the spirit you ever had, and have you ever met a ghost? Okay, so this is something I've been talking with people a lot about because I've been going on my ghost hunter tour, and I've been trying to figure out if I do indeed have ghostly experiences, because as someone who grew up in the fairy faith and in an indigenous fairy faith as well, like it's really hard to like separate spirits and ghosts from fae, so for me, I've had lots of experiences with spirits that don't always take on a human form or human face, but I don't have a lot of experiences with I don't have any experiences with like relatives or loved ones who have passed or anything like that, so I don't have that experience. So it's hard for me when it comes to like ghosts and stuff like that. But it's interesting because even though I have had like really different kinds of experiences, none of them were really like terrifying. The most terrifying things I've had, and you guys already know, were definitely like the night terrors I used to have when I was a kid. Those were terrifying. I can remember now, and I can even still even literally just right now thinking about it, I had like a little feeling around my heart, like a little jolt. I can still remember how terrifying it was for me as a kid to have those night terrors. A closed throuple is my dream, and I'm manifesting her. I am manifesting her. I'm manifesting you, girl. You're out there somewhere, lovely and sweet and kind, whose goal in life is also to spread love and joy and happiness and being ridiculously witchy and whimsical and weird and helping people realize that the best thing in life is love. I know she's out there somewhere, and she will fall in love with me and my husband, and she'll think we're cool and funny, and she'll love our dorky dances. She's out there. She'll find us one day. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Find me, girl. Find us, girl. Don't you wanna join our lovely homestead? I know, and that's why I've stopped looking. I haven't been looking for a while. I've stopped looking. I've stopped dating. I'm not dating anymore. And one of these questions was like, are you dating? Are you currently dating? So I am not currently dating anyone. No. How many partners do I have is another question. I have my nesting partner, my husband, Thor, Jody. I love him. I have platonic partners who I rely on for love and emotional support. You know, two, Alyssa and Francis. I love them. Um, but I am sapphic AF, and I am longing for her wherever she is. Every once in a while, I like stop thinking about it and I focus really hard on work and I like make a bunch of products and I do a bunch of traveling and I do a bunch of whole things and then like I get that little bump in my heart like I hate doing everything alone, you know. I do a lot of things alone. I do most of my everything alone and even though I love doing things alone, I would love to have a lady partner to do things with. You know? How do you balance multiple loves without losing your own center? Okay. That was from someone who this is someone who just got into polyamory and witchcraft at the same time and they were having a hard time making it to any kind of witchcraft groups or any kind of witchcraft like events or anything because they had dates with their partners for every night we had a witchcraft thing. And I was like, why don't you bring your partners to all the things? And they were like, I never thought of that. And one of them, what they said that one of their partners wouldn't be into it. And I was like, okay, you know, I get when like your partners aren't always like into the same exact things that you're into, right? Like I totally understand that. But I am definitely one of those people that's like, okay, will they go anyway, even if they're not into it? Because like, I love going to things that my partners are into and enjoy with them, even if it's not something I'm interested in. Just being with my partner at their place or thing where they're losing their mind with happiness makes me so happy. And then learning the things that they love with them makes me so happy. So if you are like having a hard time balancing all of your partners and your life, like those things to me, they should be integrated. You know? And this is where it comes to like the argument that I have with people sometimes at the like polyam groups is like polyamory versus non-monogamy, right? Because non-monogamy is the act of having, you know, multiple partners or multiple, you know, lovers in an understood relationship of, you know, whatever. Everyone understands that they are not monogamous and everyone is aware. And that relationship or any relationship can look however you want it to look. You know, it can look however it's going to be. But when you're polyamorous, when you are polyamorous, when your heart is capable of loving multiple people, it doesn't mean you have to or that you want to or that you're always seeking out multiple people, but that your heart is capable of it. You know, you are not always like seeking out new relationships, but it's just like you can't you can't let your life revolve around other people ever. That's where self-love magic comes in again. That's why I say it's the most powerful spell you'll ever learn. Because once you have that in there, you know that you are your center. You are always your center. No one's gonna love you as much as you are. Right? Make it so make it if that's not true for you, make it so that's true. That should be true. No one's gonna love you as much as you do because you love yourself as so much, baby. Love yourself so much. Don't make it so that their love is like a little bit. Make it so that their love is so much because your love is so much that they have to compete with the amount of love that you have for yourself. If their presence isn't bringing more love and more exploration and more curiosity into your life, then they don't need to be there. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm tired of and like the word settle isn't real. I'm tired of seeing people not settle because settle isn't real. I'm tired of seeing people um, renew or like relive experiences that will teach them lessons that they've already learned. You know what I mean? Like, if you already know that you tend to lose yourself in relationships, stop being in relationships. So hard. No, I can't be alone. If you can't be alone, honey, that self-love magic needs to be your number one priority. I will hold your hand when I say this. You do not need another person to be happy. You do not need another person to be happy. You do not need another person to be happy. And you can be like, maybe that's true for you, maybe that's true for you. And if you're saying that, it's true for anyone, Queen. We were not born with other people. Even if you were a twin or a quadruple, maybe you all came out of the same body hole, but y'all are not in the same brain. We need people for love and survival and experiences that are super cool and awesome. And we can integrate them into our lives in different ways and be affected by them in different ways. And it's so fun and cool, and it is the best. But the number one person that you need to have the best relationship with, the best understanding with, is yourself. Like, you should be so loyal and supportive to yourself before anything else, before anyone else. My dog is in my butt right now, and it is so warm. Alexa, turn up first light to 100%. Alexa, turn up first light to 100%. Okay, thank you. Guys, why don't you watch Frodo while I go to the bathroom? La, 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 la. Oh no, I'm trapped. Ah. Here. Here. Okay. My cord is like keeping me trapped here. Okay, let's see what was the question that I was just answering. I don't know. Also, do you still have an Etsy shop? If you do you still only sell jewelry or do you sell other things? So I do have an Etsy shop, but it is supposed to be closed. Most of my items are at the physical store right now, but I am going to be putting more of them back onto the Etsy shop. And I do have other things too. I have altar cloths and I have altar plates. I do have candles and I do also have wands now. I have a lot more things. Everything is, the whole branding, everything is changing, but it has just been taking me a little bit longer to integrate those things into an online space because I'm doing a lot right now, honestly. Doing like 1,000 things, and that tooth is hurting so badly right now. It's frustrating me. I hate having a toothache. It makes me cry. Yeah, so yeah, balancing multiple loves without losing your center. You've just got to understand yourself. You've got to commune with yourself. You've got to be real with yourself. You've got to do your shadow work. You've got to unblock anything you have that keeps you from feeling like you can be vulnerable or feels like there's a blockage there or it's a challenge for you to accept something. If anything is a challenge or makes you feel like you don't want it or you deny it or you defy it, you should really check on that, see what it is, find out the truth of it and work on it, you know. What do your ancestors think of your Fae energy and magical life? This one comes up a lot with people. So this was this question was like, this is like a little bit of a condensed version of this question. So this question comes from people, and this person came, I also talked to this person privately, but this question comes up a lot because people have this idea still, after all of these years, that the Fae and fairies and otherworldly creatures only come from one place, and that lore only comes from one culture. And it's like, I understand that we popularized certain fairy cultures, but that doesn't mean that the Fae don't exist in every single culture around the world. And they do. They exist in every culture around the world. In every indigenous culture around the world, there are fairies. There are nature spirits, elementals, and energies that work with, control, or manipulate humans in very interesting ways. Yeah. So it's a really big thing. And the way that my ancestors feel about this interesting connection is that it is essential for us to understand the earth and how she works and how she moves and how the realms around her work. And the deeper our understanding of that is, the more wrinkles we get on our soul brain. So any and all knowledge is broadening and expanding. And that's it, that's all it ever does. Would you ever do a group ritual with your partners, or have you already? Yeah, I love doing group rituals with people. I love doing group rituals with partners. I love doing magic with partners. A lot. I've only ever done magic with Thor, I'm pretty sure. I've never done magic with any of my other partners. Not like I haven't tried, but yeah, I haven't. In the future, hopefully I will. What's the sexiest thing about transparency and consent? The sexiest thing about transparency and consent. The sexiest thing to me in the world is confidence. Confidence is so hot to me. Someone could be like, I don't know. I can't even, I was just about to say like some kind of like way that someone would be undesirable, and I couldn't, because people are so gorgeous. Humans are so attractive and beautiful and amazing in every form. But like confidence is really attractive to me. Confidence and curiosity is super attractive to me, and humor. Also, like, my love language that I give and really love receiving is acts of service, and I love watching acts of service. And I'm telling you right now, the most romantic thing to me is if you do something for like an old person that I love. Oh, that's so hot. If one of my old people friends needs someone to like, I don't know, pick something up and drop it off for them, and then pick them up or something, and pick up their prescription, and you go do it. That's so hot to me. That's so hot. That's so hot. That is really hot to me. I don't know. That's hot to me when people are like helpful and like cute, like that. Huh? What's wrong? Why are you saying sorry? Who's saying sorry? About what? What you sorry about? What? Oh, I don't know. Gonna be watching Return. Somebody tell me something. I don't know what you say. Hi, no, thank you. No. Empire Strikes Back in the Discord. Oh, it's movie night. I'm getting a movie invite. Okay, got it. Okay, definitely gonna watch that. I love watching movies with people in Discord. It's really fun. Okay, did I answer that last question? I forget. We were talking about ancestors thinking about my fairy magic and my magical life, and they love it. And then we were talking about keeping jealousy out, being reused magic to deepen balance. Sexiest thing about transparency and consent. Yeah. Sexiest thing about transparency and consent, like I said, is people having the confidence to be transparent and the confidence to ask for consent. That's hot. It's really hot to me. And when people say like consent is hot, you know, and they just like say those words, consent is hot. So that's one thing. But when someone literally asks you if they can kiss you, that is hot. And I love asking if I can kiss someone. And I always do. And they always say yes. And then it's the best. What's the hardest part of polyamory that nobody warns you about? This is all from my perspective also. Like, don't... Okay. The hardest thing for me was when Thor fell in love with someone else. That was really hard. That was really hard for me. And I didn't realize how hard it was going to be for me. That's something that you never experience. You never have to experience your like husband falling in love with somebody else like that. You know, you never have to like watch it and be like present with it like that. And it was hard. I was like, you know, because I've, you know, been in relationships like this my entire life, and it was never as hard as it is when I'm married to someone and we've been monogamous for a long time, and then we opened up our marriage, and then watching him fall in love with someone else after never having that experience with him was really hard. Like I was hard. That's hard. Hard. And you're like, why would you put yourself through that? Why would you go through that? Why would you do that? And you're like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that? It seems insane, right? But imagine, like, okay, so imagine if your partner was like 3 months from dying, you know, and all they wanted to do was go on like a vacation with you and like their best friends, and one of their best friends was a girl, and it's like, I love her. I've loved her for so long. I'm like, oh, I love her too. Yeah. We love her. I just want to kiss you. I just want to kiss her on the nose. Go ahead, kiss her on the nose. Ah. And then they die. And you're like, man, I wonder what their life would have been like if they had been able to fall in love. I wonder what their relationship could have been like. You know, I wonder what kind of love they could have had together, or how much love that could have added to their life if they had been able to also be together. If jealousy weren't a thing, you know, or if Christianity weren't a thing, right? Because we are all monogamous because of Christianity. Don't play like you don't know that. Don't play like we don't know that. Don't play like other cultures haven't been like non-monogamous forever and have been fine. Fine, okay? Jealousy is a human emotion. It really is. It's wild. If you've ever been in love with more than one person in your life, you know, you understand. There's always so much love that can be had, especially when you realize that just because you love more than one person doesn't mean that there's less love given to other people, you know. So what I had to get over was the idea that I was losing a part of something, or I was losing someone that I wasn't really losing, you know. I wasn't losing anything. I wasn't losing anyone, you know. And that was the thing that I had to realize. This was I wasn't losing anyone. When someone cheats on you, they're betraying you. They're lying to you. It's awful. It's a terrible thing. They're going behind your back. It's awful. But when you're in a non-monogamous relationship and your partner is falling in love with someone else and they're happy, and you know that other person and they're so nice and sweet and wonderful, and you also like that other person, and you're like, oh man, my family is getting bigger because now we're just loving more people, that feels good. Like knowing that you're creating relationships with more people who are good people who like want the world to be better, and just being able to share more love is amazing. And it doesn't have anything like, for a lot of people, like, you know, non-monogamy has to do with sex. Like they want more sexual partners, and like that's their like goal. So they're just like, oh my god, I just want to like have a variety of people, like click click click, like I want to just have lots of partners. And like that is not me, bro. Blech. That is not me. I am not interested in that. Like, I do love people and I love getting to know loads of people. That's really nice. But I am gray sexual AF, dog. Like, don't come at me with no body parts unless I'm in the mood, which is like on a full moon. Then I'm insane and feral, right? But like gray ace, right? So it's, for me, it's really not about having like fun, kinky sex times. Although I do love kink. I do love kink, but it's not about sex. It's about love, and it's about support, and it's about people meeting different types of needs. People don't always meet all of your needs, and they shouldn't. Can you imagine depending on one person for everything? Oh my god, I would vomit. Can you imagine depending on one person for everything, for all of your emotional support, for your like comedy, for your comic relief, for like everything you need from life aside from the things that you get yourself? Like, that's wild. Imagine like one person being there for you for everything that you need. Like, oh man, I need someone to like go shopping with and try on clothes with. And your one person is that person that does that with you and goes book shopping with you and goes on vacations with you and takes care of other things for you. Like, I could not imagine that one person with their personality fitting into every part of my life. No way. No way. Like, I lead drum circles and like lots of like really cool spiritual events that I love. It's super fun. And sometimes Jody, like sometimes he comes to them, but sometimes he does not because he has to work or he has other things that he has to do, other things that he has to prioritize. And I'm like, duh, of course he does. He has other things that he does. But it would be so cool to have like someone who does, like run those events with me. Gosh, I would love to have a co-facilitator, and not just a co-facilitator that's like a friend, because that's cool. I love that. But I want that co-facilitator at the end of the night to come home with me and jump in the shower with me and go to sleep in pajamas that match with me. That's what I want. So, it's a really interesting and like lovely world and a lovely kind of relationship dynamic that you could have, but you have to be willing to do your shadow work. You have to be willing to be in constant like awareness of what kind of dependency you have on other people and whether it's healthy or not and whether you can work on that or not. It's a challenge. It's a huge challenge. But the thing that like cracks me up about it is that like it's the way that we began as humans. It's the way that like human life began. Polyamory and like non-monogamy was the way that human life was. And this idea of purity and of a man claiming a woman's virginity is what made monogamy a thing. And like when you think about it, that's fucked. you know Also, the double standard of like men sowing their seeds and going out and being with whoever they want, but women having to only be with one man. Why? Why? Tell me why. Tell me why. Go ahead. Tell me why in the comments. Tell me why. Go ahead. Tell me. Tell me. We know why. Let's see. What's the kinkiest magical tool you've ever used in a spell? I was gonna say handcuffs, but that's not that kinky. I can't even imagine, friends. I use all kinds of things in spells, and I definitely delve into the sex magic a lot. So that's usually like that's like a big thing. Tell me why what? Tell me why. I love elves, man. I'm such a huge fan of elves. Like, I love working with elves. Elves have such a different like personality than a lot of otherworldly beings, like, and a lot of other of the good folk, you know. Elves they're much more like us than a lot of the other types of fae. They are more, they have more of I'll say they have a more of a moral alignment with us. And so I think that's what makes them more interesting. I'm more interested in humans, and that's what makes it so that they want to commune with us more, you know? Have you ever had a magical crush that turned into a real life romance? I mean, I basically just told you about one, right? I have magical crushes all the time. I'm gonna be honest. I am very crushy, right? Friends, we know this. I be crushing because I be flirting, because I be falling in love, because I love humans, because humans are amazing and funny and cute and hilarious and sweet and darling and just like perfect. How do you not fall in love every day? If you don't fall in love every day, I don't know how. I don't. I fall in love all the time, at least once a week, and at least once a week, I develop a crush. And it isn't always like I said, like a oh my god, I have to see you naked crush. It's a like a crush, like oh my gosh, I want to see this person more. I want to know more about them. I want to understand what makes them happy. I want to give them their favorite treat. You know. There are lots of different ways to fall in love, but I really recommend feeling love and like flirtation more in life. What kind of lover are you? Healer, shapeshifter, or trickster? What kind of lover are you? Healer, shapeshifter, or trickster? Oh, that's hard. I'm going to say trickster right off the bat. Because I would want to say healer. I definitely do offer a lot of like ideas and like stability and support when it comes to emotional healing and stuff like that. But I'm also like, I keep people on their toes a lot when it comes to that kind of thing, because I'm always changing and evolving and stuff. And I also love surprising people, and I love surprises, and I love being like wild and like spontaneous. And look at him. What you doing? Uh-huh. Being bad. So yeah, I would say trickster for sure. I'm more of a trickster lover. I think that might be one of the. Okay. Have you ever felt torn between ancestral faiths and modern witchcraft? That's a good one. Have you ever felt torn between ancestral faith and modern witchcraft? No. I don't feel torn. No. A lot of modern witchcraft involves religion, I find. And I'm not the biggest fan of integrating religion into my craft. I'm going to be honest. I do not like integrating religion into my craft. Even though hoodoo is the basis of what I practice, I do not integrate Christianity into my craft in that way. Because to me, a lot of the connotations and a lot of the uses for Christianity and a lot of the energy surrounding it is or can be quite negative. And there are a lot of opposing ideas that are being upheld that involve Christianity that are completely false, that are just not true. And so a lot of modern witchcraft integrates a lot of faiths together and integrates a lot of belief systems together in a way that I personally would not. Just saying. Yes. So I'm just like, no, thank you. What is one thing you wish people understood about Black spirituality and magic? Oh my gosh, that it isn't evil. You know what annoys me the most, like in the world, is when people use terms like black and white magic, and it's one of those, again, one of those unpopular opinion things. I do not use those terms. They are silly, they are antiquated, and they are rooted in racism. That is really important to me, is that people examine the roots of their beliefs to see if they do still hold truth in today's world. Okay? Because people who write the books for like magic and witchcraft and paganism and indigenous faith, everyone who writes the books, everyone who writes these books is subject to society's rules, laws, and adherences. Everyone who writes these books, including people who wrote the Bible, everyone who writes any spiritual text, any magical text, any spiritual book, any of it, they are all wrapped up in a cute little human package that is fallible and that has free will and that can put whatever spin they want onto anything. And you had better believe that the people who are in control will put the spin in their direction. Okay? So, my eyeball. You guys remember how I told you that I had a stroke? So every once in a while, this eyeball, I lose power over it. And it's happening right now. I'm losing the motor skills over this eyeball. It's super annoying. But yeah. White and black magic, not a thing. Okay. Magic is magic. Dark and light. Dark does not mean bad. Light does not mean good. It doesn't. It never has. And it's so funny because I sometimes I'll have this conversation with people and they will be like, no, like dark means like dark, like shadow, like bad, like in the darkness. And I'm like, what? Like you can't see it, like it's in the dark. I'm like, well, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's bad, right? Like just because it's in the dark doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you can't see it just yet, you know? You should shed some light on it, shine some light on it, then you can see it in a different way. You can see it in a different way, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. You know, just because you can't see something doesn't mean you can't feel it or understand it, you know? And it definitely doesn't make it evil. So it's you know, a lot of like, there's a lot of racism wrapped up in those terms, and I think that people really need to look into those things and see if it makes sense for them, because people saying that black magic is evil, that is incorrect. You know, people using the term black magic to describe bad magic coined it that way to make black magic, black people magic, seem evil. So, okay, it's not good versus evil. It's just they're just light is there, and then it isn't. Right? The nighttime isn't evil because the sun's not out. Right? It's just a different side. It's just a different, you know. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting, and like you can get completely deep into it, and you can find out exactly why and where and how and do as much research as possible. But like there's so much more to these terms, and there's so much more to light and dark than good and evil. You know, you know. There was one more question that came up and I like totally skipped it. Where is it? What's your go-to spell for irresistibility or for obsession? So I don't do obsession magic or irresistibility magic. I can't imagine someone being obsessed with me. Yike. That is not something that I would ever want. No, I do not want anyone being obsessed with me. No. You know what I want being obsessed with me? Money. Money. I would love for money to be obsessed with me. So you could do an obsession spell for money. That would be really fun. To have money be obsessed with you and just like fall at your feet and like smash, I'll fall all over you and stuff like that. Jeremy is right now at Terra Luna. He's with Brian. They've been on like a weekend date. Yeah, money can be obsessed with me, but I don't want people to be obsessed with me. You know, that's not cute. If you want to feel sexy, again, self-love magic, bro. I'm telling you. You are sexy. If you are in the mood for sex and you feel sexy, you are sexy. That's what that is. Just because, one person has an idea of what is sexy doesn't mean that you have to be that idea to be sexy. Okay? Untie your brain from the rest of the world and recognize that you are an individual who is anything and everything that you want to be. Whether or not other people tell you you are or not, you are everything that you want to be. Whether or not someone says it to you or not. Other people have no... Are they in here in your brain? No. You are. So you tell yourself what you are. I'm sexy. Bam, you are. Self-love magic. First and foremost, like looking at yourself in the mirror for a long time. Getting used to your face. Looking at your eyes, looking at your nose, looking at your cheeks, looking at your wrinkles, looking at your pores, looking at your spots, looking at everything. Looking at every part of your body. Looking at yourself naked. Look at every part of your body, your hair, everything. And then recognize the truth about yourself, which is that you are a spirit in the body. Okay? You didn't pick the body, right? You were gifted this body. This is the one you got. No one got to pick. Nobody got to pick their body. Nobody. We all just got what we were landed with, and we do the best with what we got. Okay? Everybody. So, look at your vehicle. Okay? Look at your vehicle and say, okay, this is a really interesting vehicle. Here I am in this thing. What can I do to make this vehicle feel like home? What can I do to make this vehicle feel like it's mine? Because I recognize that I'm a spirit and I don't look like this for real. I don't look like this for real. I don't look like this for real. I'm in here, right? I can't see my space. I'm inside of here looking out through my eyes, correct? You are inside of there looking out through your eyes. You're in a vehicle that you did not choose. So what are you going to do to make this vehicle feel like home while you're here? Because you have no choice other than to do that. Yes? So that's what you do. You decorate it, you work out or whatever, or you don't, you eat whatever you want, you make it delicious, you put delicious food in here so that you're always happy because you have delicious food. You spray it with sprays, you wash it, you can maintain it because it is a vehicle that needs certain types of maintenance, You decorate it with baubles and you put things on it the way that you want your vehicle. You do it the way that you want to, it's completely your vehicle. So you choose how you want it to look and feel and smell and everything. And you decorate it with the cloths and the colors that you want it to have. And you enjoy that. And you enjoy how you've decorated your vehicle. And if you're like, oh, I don't really like the way this vehicle has this thing here, I would like to make this, a little bit more like that, then you do it. And then you see it, you go, okay, yeah. And then you decorate it more. And you go, cool. You look at your vehicle and make it look and feel the way that you want it to. And then you take this vehicle out into the world and you explore your curiosities. And by exploring your curiosities, you are loving yourself. Because you did not come into this human vehicle body to sit on your ass. You didn't. You did not go to Disney World to sit in the parking lot, right? You want to go in and see what kind of things you can explore. You want to touch things. You want to taste the food to see if you like it. You want to do things in the amusement park. So do it. Don't compare your vehicle to other people's vehicles. No one got to pick their vehicle. Put that in your brain, please. Solidify that into your brain, please. Because that is something that drives me wild about the humans. And this is what also makes me feel so separate from humans sometimes, is that they don't remember that they chose to come here, but that they didn't get to choose the vehicle. So they look at their vehicle and they go, why does my vehicle look like this? And their vehicle looks like that. Well, that's not fair. They didn't pick either, dog. They didn't say, oh, let me get the one with, no, dude. They're just making the best of what they got. And you know what? Even though their vehicle may be prettier than yours, their brain may not work at all. Okay? So please, don't compare your cool vehicle to anyone else's. Because even though their vehicle may be shiny and gorgeous and have all kinds of stuff, their butt may not work at all. Right? They may not be able to digest nuts. They may not be able to digest dairy. They may not be able to be loved by their father. They may not be able to do math, okay? Do not compare your vehicle to anybody else's. It doesn't make logical sense to do that. So don't. Use your vehicle the way that you can to explore your curiosity as much as you can, to add as many wrinkles on your brain as you can, to have as much fun and love and yum that you can until you die. Because we all do it. We all do the It sucks because we don't know when we do it. Your authenticity is your greatest magic. Putting your authenticity into your spell work, making your rituals, your altar, your spiritual space look and feel and smell like what you want makes your magic more powerful than anything else. Any book you can read, anything. Do you know the most magical spell that I'm imagining right now? Everyone knows this person in their life that they looked up to that was like so hot, so cool, they had everything together. Their hair was always done, like they were clever and funny or whatever, and like people loved them. That was their magic. That was their spell. They were really, really good at casting that spell. They cast it all the time. And you fell for it. You fell for that spell all the time because they took what they had and they made it the best. They were like, oh, my hair looks like this. How can I make it look the best based on what it looks like so far? And they did it. You know, my this looks like this, or my personality is like this, or I feel like this, or I'm interested in this. So I am going to make each attribute of myself the best it can be. I'm going to turn it all up to 1,000 because why not? What are you waiting for? Right? They're going to turn it all up to 1,000 using all their magic and their energy on everyday interactions, on everything that they do, on creating actual like relationships and creating connections with people and bonding with people, with smiling at people, with flirting with people, with flipping their hair at people and looking cute at people and making people feel seen, making people feel like attractive, you know, making people feel loved or desirable. Like these people use charisma as magic to get what they want in life, you know? And using that charisma as magic does so much more for you than using negativity as magic or as spells, you know? And people are, you do, like you do. If you like say things to yourself like in your head that like puts yourself down or defeats yourself, you are like casting the worst shit on yourself every day. It's the worst. It's the worst. It sucks. And like I hear witches doing it constantly and like wonder why things aren't working, like why their magic is blocked. Like, oh, I've been trying to do this forever and it's just not working. And I'm like, well, what is it? Well, I've just been trying to get out of this position forever and it's just like I just can't seem to get out of it. Like I just keep like messing up. I just keep fucking up. I just suck. I'm just so bad at this. I just can't do this. Like every time you say that, you are casting a spell on yourself. And people are like really good at mixing like magic and like self-help in a way that makes it seem like they're like separate things, like magic and like affirmations and self-help and metaphysics are all different things. But like they are not actually all different things. Like they are actually all the same thing. Like magic and witchcraft are a people's way of understanding science and using science and biology. You know, what I mean by a people is like if we didn't have tools or anything, you know, if we were just working with the earth and working with our hands and the elements the way we used to, magic is a way of understanding science. It's a way of like manipulating science, you know, using herbs and you know earth medicine to heal a sickness or a wound is a magical way of explaining science. You know, it's a plant has antiseptic and it is, you know, killing the bacteria in this wound we can't see it happening, so the leaf is effectively magically healing this wound, right? Science explains magic. Magic, mystifies science, or makes science look magical, or makes it look fantastical when it's just, it's just reality. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about like witchcraft, is that it is separate from the mundane world, from the modern world, and it just isn't, and it's even better explained now that we have so many more tools to explain how things work. Like, you can explain to people how the law of attraction works now, because we can quantify it with scientific experiments, and so it's fascinating that you can research why magic works now, but still people don't believe in it, which is hilarious. uh, well, my loves, I have gone through all of the spicy questions here. I'm pretty sure. Yep. Oh, one more, I think. How do you honor your roots while also creating your own path? That's a good one. That's also a subject that comes up a lot with people. Like, oh no. Like, people are often like, how do you stay true to your roots and to your culture and feel like you're still doing things for your own, and doing things your own way, or creating your own kind of magical life? Because a lot of people grew up in a household that was against anything that wasn't Christian religion, right? A lot of people grew up in these households that were like Catholic and Baptist and stuff, and their parents told them that magic was evil, or tarot was evil, and it's the devil and stuff like that. And it's just not true. Like, it's not something that is just like an opinion, like, and this is something also that I continue to tell witches, because I feel like when I'm doing classes and stuff in person, a lot of people don't seem to know this, but you can do like really good historic research to find out the origin of like magic or folklore in your culture, and show people and tell people how magic in your culture how it stems from medicine, or how it stems from meditation, or like turning over crops or something. You know what I mean? Like, you can literally show the people in your life who are like, magic is evil. You can be like, oh, actually it's not, because it's literally just this. And if anyone will listen, gang, 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 you can show them like, hey, it's actually just this, and research can show you can look it up, you can totally find out the truth, and in this gentlest way possible, open up their eyes to the suggestion that witchcraft is just indigenous teaching that has survived religion. Ba-bum, bum, bum, bum. All right, my friends, it is time for me to relax, do some journaling, and listen to my audiobook. Thank you for joining me on this evening as I answered these spicy questions. I hope you are all sufficiently, juiced. Why am I gay? I am gay. I am not fully gay. Is it true that the first witch was black? I mean, our first woman was black. Oh. Probably, right? Like, weren't people from Africa. Maybe not. Yeah, like so. Maybe like not black, but probably like tan. I don't know. But yeah, life began in Africa, and then people moved around the world and stuff, and then people changed colors based on weather and conditions, and languages were formed and stuff. Super cool. Man, I wish I could go back and just like watch it happen. I mean, I bet when you die you can. I bet when you die you can like go anywhere and be like, whoa, can I watch? Can I watch the first person like use a word? what do you think? Apple. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me on the Spicy Q&A. I had a lovely time. And if you are interested in supporting my channel, I have a Patreon where the rewards are sent to an Instagram called Moss Folk Hollow. If you are already a patron, and you are not a part of that Instagram, send it a request and I will add you. It is a private Instagram that is only for my patrons. I post stories, BTS, silly stuff, rituals, journal prompts, whatever. It is open DMs there as well, so you can always just talk to me about whatever you want. And that is also where the questions get answered first. If you ever have any super spicy questions or anything you want to answer, the patrons get first dibs. And I will see you all in the next live. Enjoy your week.